supporters of the Resistance here.
Here we go.
It would seem they know more than you do, Trooper.
We will find out what they know, sir.
If
Understood,
they
sir.
know something you don't, make them tell you.
Sir.
You waste my time.
Hold, please. Let's see some identification.
Move. Now.
Please
Hey, what's
shoot.
happening? Good one, SirJames coming at you guys with another Star Wars Galaxy's Edge haul video. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. As for me, I am exhausted. And this time around, this wasn't just like, okay, I went for the day or half a day. I went like multiple times because I stayed at a hotel. So I was there basically all of Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, and about most of Sunday. So yeah, I am completely spent. Had to relax before recording this video because otherwise I would not be able to do so whatsoever. So before we get into it, just want to kind of point out if at any point you do hear any crickets in the background, just fed my reptiles, so they're nice and happy, so they're kind of hunting for them. But anyways, let's go ahead and begin. So what I want to do is to do the haul portion first and to talk about my initial trip, that I have fun, and let's just go ahead and get into it because I'm really excited about this one, because I know my last haul video, I will admit, wasn't as crazy or exciting that most of you are hoping for, but this time around, it's great. Obviously, the Legacy Saber that you guys were asking me about, I did get, and a few extra items. Let's go ahead and start with the smaller stuff first. Now, I went to the Cantina a couple times, which, by the way, speaking of the Cantina, one of the drinks that I was really wanting to try that they didn't have before was the Carbon Freeze. And they finally brought back the Carbon Freeze, but it was a lot different compared to what I thought it was going to be. Because I remember images and videos of the Carbon Freeze being in this tall glass, and then you have these weird ball things floating around, but there's like dry ice in it, so it's all bubbly and smoky, and it looked really cool. But apparently they changed it. I don't know the meaning behind it, but they're in like a smaller glass. It's not all fancy looking as it used to be. But I did try it. It was good. It was a non-alcohol drink. So if you're looking for a non-alcohol drink to have, it's a really good one. I just wish it was the original version of it. I just don't know why they changed it around. Rumors has it was because the dry ice was messing up their glass. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just rumors. So anyways, the reason why I brought up the Cantina is because unfortunately the beer flight was still out of stock. Otherwise I would have bought that just as a souvenir without the drinks. But typically in the Cantina, besides the souvenir drinks you can get, is they have coasters that you can take with you. It's usually random because they're facing typically like this, and you don't know what you get until you flip it around. But the first one that I got here is the Bantha. And then the second one is with these axes. If you guys recall on the last haul video, I mentioned that I also had the Rancor, along with the Ewok. Now, I don't know if this is all 4 or if there's more than 4, but if there is only 4, then technically I have the whole set. If there's another one, then I'm going to have to be on the hunt for it. I just have to kind of look it up and to see what is currently available, but I thought it was neat to have that set. Continuing on with the trend of smaller items, I actually picked up a patch today, which is the patch for the Droid Depot, which is $10 by the way. It's one of those, it's not something that you have to iron on or stitch, it's just something that you peel the back and you stick it onto a surface. Very simple. And I also got a pin, just kind of looking for something to add to my bag. This one I got over in the, I forget the name of the place, but it's basically the gift shop that's in the marketplace area where you find the Han Solo die set. So that was $10 as well. And even though I already have chance cubes, I picked up another set of chance cubes because they had so many of them. This was not running out of stock. Sabak was out of stock, but they have so many of these. So if you're looking for chance cubes, you should have no issues at this point in time. And there was one other item here, which is actually on my bag already. This I got at the the First Order cargo bay for $10. Since I already had something from the Resistance, which was this one from before. And so even though this is like the bag that I tend to carry with me, which is the messenger bag from the Destiny 2 Collector's Edition, I might add some patches on here because the patches are not going to ruin the bag. So if I ever need to take them off, I could do so with ease. So if you do ever find me, and from the back, this is what I'll tend to carry, but I'm just kind of spiff it up, make it a little bit more fancier. So there's that. I also got me some Star Wars water, or this is basically the water bottle that they have inside the park. Because while I was wearing the tunic, both the Jedi and Sith, depending on the day, the Friday I was Jedi, on Saturday I was the Sith or Dark Jedi as other people call it, and then on Sunday I was a Jedi yet again. And the weather wasn't too bad, but again, because the tunics are polyester and part spandex, it's just not a breathable material, so there's a lot of times where I just had to get out of the sun, out of the heat, so might be a little bit more red towards the face. Another item, I did pick up some items for people, by the way. For example, I got 2 Sabers here, which are going to go to a couple people that requested one that sent me the funds for. One of them was a Peace and Justice with a red Kyber Crystal, and then the other one was a power control as well. So the first guy that I helped out from, well, I'm not going to say where he's located, but I originally built him a saber, sent it to him, and his son was super jealous, and his son really wanted one, so now his son's going to have one, so he'll be happy. And one of the items here are also for him too, or a couple of these actually, or in this case, all 3 of them, I should say. For my friend at work that I went with on the last trip, I got him a Sith holocron because his son wanted one, and I got his son, hopefully this fits him, if not I'll have the receipt, but his son also wanted a youth Jedi tunic. So hopefully that fits him fine. If not, he'll have a little bit of room to grow into it. I was trying to figure out what size would be best for him, so I just took a guess. Hopefully I was spot on. Let's see, moving on over here. Now, as you guys know, my little brother built a droid, which I haven't reviewed the droids, which I'll be doing so soon. And so I got him a Droid Backpack. What was interesting is that on Friday this was not in stock, but they brought it back on Saturday. So these have been coming back in stock quite often, and they were still there by the time I left. So here it is. The backpack is $40, so I got a nice discount from it. There's a pocket here where you could put the droid remote in, and I actually have his droid in here right now. So you basically unzip this when it's in here snug, and then you lift this down, and your droid is ready to go. One thing I want to note is that for the droids, when you have them at home and turn on, after like 5 or 10 minutes, they will auto turn off. But I was noticing that with Dano's droid, his droid was remaining on longer than 10 minutes. And I guess that's because when your droid is in the theme park, specifically in Galaxy's Edge, it's communicating through some type of Bluetooth. So it keeps it on, so every once in a while, your droid will interact with something. So that's pretty cool. At least your droid will remain on. I wish you kind of get the same effect at home, but you know what? It is what it is, and kind of brings you an incentive to bring your droid back into the park, which hopefully my little brother does do that. So set this off to the side here. And we'll save this for last. And let's go ahead and get to the sabers here. So the first one, which you guys already seen, but ObiWan Kenobi saber is back in stock. This is actually one of the first legacy sabers that I reviewed, which, by the way, the price for ObiWan Kenobi saber was $110. His new price tag is $130, so he also did get the price increase. And the one that you guys have been waiting for, which I do thank you for your patience, is, of course, Darth Maul. Now, don't worry, I'm going to give you guys a teaser by showcasing one of the sabers. We'll just have to wait to the review when I connect them together, after I get them to align and everything. So here it is. Here is one of Darth Maul's saber hilts. And one thing I just want to kind of point out really quick is that I do like how the on and off switch is for this one, because this red knob here, you twist this to turn it on and you twist it to turn it off. Unlike the Temple Guard one, remember the Temple Guard one, I pointed out that the button stuck out. It looked really fragile, but the Temple Guard one should have been how this one was. I think that would be a much better design. But the point is, I have two hilts, which means I will be able to connect them together. And the blades that I will be showcasing these for my review would be the Sabers Workshop blades, which are the 31 inches, because I feel like 36 inches is going to be way too big to mess around with and swing in a nicely manner. So 31 should do it just fine. Or if you like shorter ones, there's the 26, but I don't have any 26-inch blades. And last but not least, are crystals. Now, you guys know I've been collecting the Kyber Crystals. I was trying to collect all the different characters. The three that I was missing was Snoke, which is the black Kyber Crystal. There's also an 8-ball Vader and 8-ball Yoda, which are also just as rare, but I have this. So let's go ahead and start from the 8 balls to the last one. So the first one here is a green Kyber Crystal, which is the alternate Yoda. Okay, seal it up. And I will be doing a separate video showcasing all the characters, by the way, if you're wondering.
Yes. The Force will be with you.
So one thing you can do with the 8-ball version is to answer a question, you know, Master Yoda, will I become a Jedi Master?
Always in motion is the future.
So, yeah, there's a chance for it. Sweet, alright. Master Yoda, is there a chance that I will get a second black Kyber Crystal?
A little more knowledge might light our way.
Okay, maybe not so much.
No.
Yeah, that should have been the correct answer right there.
A certainty this is.
So yeah, when they say 8-ball Yoda and Vader, that's kind of a good example there. Let's go ahead and remove this one really quick. So next up is the 8-ball Vader. And by the way, one thing I want to point out is that for the red Kyber Crystals now, they added this black piece of paper in there so you can no longer do the flashlight trick. So for those of you who might think that I've cheated, impossible, because flashlights don't work on these anymore. Makes it fair game now.
Choose poorly and you will be destroyed. Your destiny lies along a different path.
It's funny because I had a friend on Discord that I was hanging out with, and I was asking Vader all kinds of questions, and it was kind of scary for the answers I was getting, especially when I was like, should I destroy my master? And I forgot what the response was, but I was like, yeah, this is kind of freaking me out now.
Events are in motion. The outcome is unclear.
You know, like for example, we'll see what kind of response we'll get. Lord Vader, shall I destroy my master?
Yes.
See? I told you. Just straight up, yes. Alright, let's see, Lord Vader. Shall I have an apprentice of my own one day?
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Alright, so I guess one day I shall have an apprentice. But yeah, you could have so much fun with that. I'm kind of liking the 8-ball versions, but maybe a little bit more, just because you could have that much fun right there. Let's go ahead and put this off to the side. Now, this last one is a special one. You guys have seen the photo floating around online, or not floating around because I shared it. I got the black Kyber Crystal, and I can't tell you how shocked and surprised I was, because I said to myself, at most, I was gonna buy 4 reds. If I didn't get the black Kyber Crystal within those 4 pulls, I was not going to bother with it whatsoever, because, you know, the Kyber Crystals, which, by the way, they changed the prices to $14.99 now. They were $12.99, and so they're expensive. So if you think I'm going to throw hundreds of dollars to try to get the black one, that's not the case here, and I'm not going to, you know, buy one from a scalper or anything. But yeah, I opened it, and another person that was there, Morgan, she thought she was recording, because my reaction for anyone that was there was priceless. I was over here freaking out, and I was like, no. I thought I was like half asleep or something. I was like, okay, maybe it's a dark blue. Maybe I'm not looking at the colors correctly. And I was shaking, and I was just filled with excitement, because I was like, yes, I finally have the black crystal. So let's go ahead and open this up. And this is a legit one, because I'm going to put it in the holocron. But this one right here, this is my fake black Kyber Crystal. Basically, this is actually a repainted blue crystal, which I just took a Sharpie, put it over a few times, and then I put a clear, a glossy finish coat. But this is a fake one right here. I don't know how well you can see it. I mean, it's black, but this is not real. This is a fake one. And I never showcased it in my videos, because obviously it was not legit, so I didn't showcase it. This one right here, this is the legit one. Because unlike this one where it's like all completely encased in black, this one, someone has a crystal see-through shine to it. Again, they almost look identical. Actually, let me bring my fake one over. So, I mean, they almost look identical. But yep, there it is, the Obsidian Kyber Crystal, which has Snoke. So we'll put this in just a moment. Inside, you still also get that little piece of paper. And again, because this was not used with a flashlight trick, they do have that black piece of paper in there, so it's impossible to know. But they also still add this note here. Really tiny. So let me go ahead and try to read it to you guys. It's a small font, so I don't know how good I read it. See, today you have found something truly special. This small fragment of obsidian is infused with the power of the dark side. When placed inside a lightsaber or holocron, this rare fragment with unnatural powers mined from a dark side shrine will have a similar properties as a red Kyber Crystal. So, because one of the things I mentioned is that the black crystal works the same way as the red one. The only difference it will serve you is if you're like me, trying to collect all the different characters, because this is going to be the only way to get Snoke. So let's go ahead and place it in here so you guys could take a listen. Ooh. I dropped it. I dropped the power. And I'll bring the fake one over just to prove that that one's a repainted blue one, by the way.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
I mean, yeah, felt it on Friday, that's for sure.
When I found you, I saw what all masters live to see. Raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
What's funny is because the day that I got it, I was a Jedi, so, interesting how that turned out. Apparently, I guess I turned Sith.
So much strength. Darkness rises and light to meet it.
And I guess maybe at the end it was my destiny to turn to the dark side. I don't know. I mean, I look good in black, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, you guys be the judge.
My worthy apprentice, where there was conflict, I now sense resolve. Where there was weakness, strength. Complete your training and fulfill your destiny.
But yeah, I was so pumped to get that, and I was just like so joyful. Like, it was cool because Morgan, she brought the string out from one of her straps that she had, and so I made sure to tie it on my bag, and I kept checking it every so often, like, is this real? Is this real? But it was cool. So as I said, this one right here, this is my fake one. I never promoted it, but I've always told people that you could always repaint it, and then there you go. But just to prove that this is a repainted blue one. So yeah. It looks white on camera, but it's blue. So which means if we add this to the collection, let's see, let me double check here. That is every single character in the Kyber Crystals that you are able to collect. So which means we'll have a future video going over all these. And it's going to be a little bit of a long video because sometimes when you use the holocrons, some of them tend to repeat stuff you already heard before you get to something new. But it feels great. I mean, the last video was me finishing the scrap metal collection, and now this time I've completed my Kyber Crystal collection. And I think also the coasters for the Cantina, though that wasn't a planned thing to get, just it'd be kind of cool to get it eventually. And if I got all that, then it's even better. It's like, what do I collect now? I know some people are going to be like, well, collect all the droids. It's like, I don't think I'm going to be collecting the droids. The Dano channel could collect the droids, but for me, it was mostly all about the lightsabers and whatever caught my initial interest. But there is that one. Everything's going off at once. I know a lot of you guys were asking me questions and all that. So I think that was it as far as the haul video goes. So which means reviews coming out. We got the droids to review because my friend, he got the pre-built R2 unit, and then I have my little brother's droid that he built along with the backpacks and accessories, so I could be showcasing all that in a video for you guys eventually soon. And then of course the Darth Maul Legacy Sabers, which obviously we'll be reviewing probably first because I know how much you guys have been waiting for that one patiently, I may add. And then of course we have the Kyber Crystal collection to go ahead and go over that, and pretty much go from there, and then whatever videos that I get from Star Wars in real life. So let me go ahead and just kind of talk about my trip. Now again, I was there Friday, basically all afternoon, all day Saturday, and most of Sunday. Sunday I called it off a little bit early to try to beat traffic, and I was just wired. Like right now I'm exhausted, don't even want to do anything, but I know it meant so much to you guys if I got a video up for you to enjoy. But the trip was amazing. On Friday we had a lightsaber meetup in front of the Falcon, which I know you guys seen a photo or two floating around, which was really cool, so it was great. I mean, the one photo I uploaded was a smaller portion of the crowd, but we had one where we had more people, and it was just really, really cool, and especially because Ray showed up at the last second to join in for that one. Was just a really nice moment. I know the Dano channel's droid meetup was pretty successful. I didn't see it in person, but I saw some of the photos online, so it looked like he had a great time. It was also great hanging out with the Dano channel and of course Star Wars in real life, because the thing is, like, we were like, hey, three-way collab, which I'm not sure how it entirely turned out because each and every one of us kind of had our own plans, and it wasn't like to the last second where we kind of tossed the idea in. So even though our execution of it wasn't quite there, I feel like maybe the next time we could probably communicate better, which I think the next big event that we're all going to be there for is the Star Wars convention, which is going to be in Anaheim in 2020. So that should be a good option for us to do some form of collab, and I'm pretty sure Star Wars in real life will probably cosplay. I'm definitely going to cosplay for sure, and essentially go from there. Another thing I want to go ahead and point out is that there's this little kid there, and he was like a huge fan, not just for my channel, but also Star Wars in Real Life and the Dano channel. But just seeing the kid's reaction and excitement of being able to meet me and the rest of us was really cool, because eventually he found Star Wars in Real Life first, and then I got that text like, hey, there's a little kid here who's a diehard fan of your channel. And by the time I got there, I guess the kid went to go, or they must have went somewhere for something. I wasn't sure exactly what, but the kid ended up finding me later on. It's like, well, if I hang around close to Doc Ondar's, he should be able to find me, which he did. He was fully dressed up, by the way. I was jealous because, you know, the kids, they get to dress up in a complete costume. So he's wearing the robe, tunic, the boots, everything. He's even got the Padawan braid going on. But yeah, he was all decked out, ready to go, and of course I was in my Sith garb. So we talked for a brief moment, and of course we took plenty of photos, and then eventually I actually loaned him my number so I could inform him when the Dano channel shows up. So we were able to meet once again, and then we got a nice big group photo. But we basically made that kid's day, and I think that was probably one of the main highlights for sure. Besides the Obsidian Crystal, making that kid's day was a really big positive for my experience. And another thing too is that the cards, these cards that I pass out to you guys that find me, is on Saturday I had about a stack of 100. At the end of Saturday, I only had 5 of these left. I still have more, by the way, but just for that particular day, I only had 5 out of 100 left over. I passed out so many. I've had a lot of photo opportunities with you guys who ended up finding me, and just pass out cards in general for those who didn't want a photo. I guess just anyone who finds me gets one. Now, there was a point in time during Saturday's trip where I got nervous because I was chilling out in the marketplace area, just, recording some footage, hanging out, trying to get out of the sun for a little bit to cool down. And, nearby was security, which I, wasn't having any issues with. But there was a point where I did get nervous because a fan came up to me. Now, I wasn't nervous because of the fan or anything like that. It's because what had happened next, and he asked if he could take a photo with me, which again, I have no issues with taking a photo with people. If you want to take a photo with me, I have no problems whatsoever. The only reason why I was nervous is because here I am wearing the Sith tunic, or Dark Jedi as other people prefer calling it, and security and everybody's watching, and I'm about to take a photo with a fan dressed up, and it's like, uh-oh, something's gonna happen right now with security. So we took the photo, I gave the guy a card, and of course we talked for a little bit, pointed out some stuff that he was looking for in the right direction, which he was very happy about. And then as we parted ways, that's when I was stopped by the security. And I was like, oh man, I'm either going to be told to leave, to take off the tunic, something's going to go down. And they basically noticed that, all right, I assume you're some type of vlogger or content creator, because the guy knew exactly who you were. And we had no issues with you taking a photo with him as long as he was aware that you're not a cast member and whatnot. And he was like, the only reason why we stopped you is because we noticed that you handed him something. And I basically explained that, I have these cards that I like to pass out to the fans, so whoever finds me gets this nice exclusive card, or for those that I'm helping out for the community. And the security's like, I like to follow content creators and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, do you mind if I have one of your cards? I was like, sure, no problem. So the security was very chill. He was very nice, professionally well done. He just had, basic common question, and he had no problems whatsoever. So that was a great experience with the security. There was another point where it was actually today. Star Wars in Real Life had like one of those big fancy expensive cameras, and he had like one of those big gimbals for it. He had it on the ground, and I guess security was talking to him. I wasn't sure exactly what was transpiring, but I remember the security was looking at me and was basically telling the other person there. I'm assuming he's kind of learning the rules for the land. It might be like a transfer over. She basically looked at me and she's like, oh, you know, he's code 4, something like that. I forgot what phrase she used. Basically saying, no, he's okay. You know, just like, you know, his pants and shoes indicate that obviously he's not a cast member, which is great because I don't want people to mix me up that way. Though there was a couple people that do anyways. So, I mean, everything worked out. There's no issues with the security whatsoever. I mean, everyone had a great time. But there's a lot of things that actually transpired, though. For one, Kylo Ren ended up spotting Chewbacca, and he was rushing towards them with the troopers and then stopped at a certain point. I was like, sweet, some nice variety. And another thing that was great to see is that there was cast members sitting around at different stations teaching people how to play sabacc, which was a really cool immersive experience, and I'm glad to see that the land keeps changing and evolving. Though I don't like the price increase, but to see more immersive interactions is a very, very cool touch. Another thing too that ended up happening was, do I have it over here? Oh, here it is. You guys recall the gift cards here, the Spire gift cards that you're able to obtain. Before they had it in just the Resistance camp area, or before it was in the Droid Depot, then they moved it over to the Resistance area. But it seems like they're adding this to more locations, because I saw it in not only the Droid Depot this weekend, but they also had it in the Outfitters along with the Resistance camp. So it seems like you don't have to go to just the one location anymore. There's going to be more locations that you can visit just to get the gift card if you really wanted it. Just keep in mind that you do need to put at least $100 down on it. But it was great interaction. I had a great time with the Dano channel and Star Wars in real life, and we got to fly the Falcon today before I had left, which we made pretty good pilots actually. He had fun. You know, he asked if he could have the right hand side so that way he could do the hyperdrive and everything. But again, it was a great time. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting together with them once again for something. Hopefully we can get together during Star Wars Celebration for 2020. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. I know this video is a lot longer than I intended to be, but I was just trying to make up for the lack of content for the past few days. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. And one thing I forgot to mention is that right now for the Kyber Crystal situation, you do not need to buy a holocron. You could freely buy one of each color crystal. So if you want one of each color, then you could buy one of each color. Just keep in mind that the crystals are now $14.99. But again, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time, where hopefully by then I'll be doing my review on the Darth Maul Legacy Sabers to finish off with all the saber completions. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.